Inside Byron Allen's massive media empire. Imagine owning one of the most trusted television networks in America. Imagine building a media company worth billions of dollars. Then imagine trying to buy ABC, BET, Paramount, and even an NFL franchise. Most people would call that impossible. Byron Allen calls it business. Today, he's one of the most influential media owners in the United States. His company controls television stations across the country, owns the Weather Channel, produces thousands of hours of programming, and continues expanding into digital media. But what's even more fascinating is how it all began. No wealthy family, no Ivy League education, no powerful investors waiting to hand him an opportunity. Just a 14-year-old kid with a microphone, a dream, and an obsession with understanding who really controlled television. While everyone else wanted to become famous, Byron Allen wanted to own the stage. And that single decision changed everything. This is the story of how a teenage comedian quietly built one of the largest Black-owned media empires in America. Chapter 1: The Night Television Changed. In television, there are moments that redefine the industry. One of those moments arrived when CBS announced that its legendary late-night franchise would come to an end. For decades, that time slot represented prestige. Some of the biggest names in television had built their careers there. When the future of that hour suddenly became uncertain, most people assumed another famous comedian would eventually take over. Instead, Byron Allen stepped forward, confidently, publicly, without hesitation. He made it clear that if the opportunity became available, he wanted it. Many people laughed at the idea. After all, Byron Allen wasn't the first person most viewers associated with late-night television, but that's exactly why people underestimated him. He wasn't thinking like a television host, he was thinking like an owner. Rather than waiting for a traditional contract, Allen pursued a completely different business model. Instead of simply appearing on television, he wanted to control the business behind the broadcast. His company would handle advertising. His company would generate the revenue. His company would treat airtime as an investment instead of a paycheck. It was a bold strategy that reflected something Byron Allen had understood for decades. Real power in media doesn't always belong to the person standing in front of the camera. It belongs to the people who control what happens after the cameras stop rolling. That philosophy would become the foundation of everything he built. But to understand why he thought that way, we need to go back nearly 50 years, back to a teenager wandering through television studios in Los Angeles. Chapter 2: The 14-year-old who saw the bigger picture. Long before Byron Allen became a billionaire media entrepreneur, he was simply a curious kid fascinated by television. His mother worked in publicity, giving him access to television studios while most kids his age were still dreaming about appearing on TV. Those visits changed his life. Instead of watching television from his living room, he watched producers making decisions, executives negotiating deals, writers shaping entire shows. He began noticing something that many aspiring entertainers never realized. The biggest names on television weren't necessarily the most powerful people in the building. Behind every famous face stood someone who owned the production, someone who controlled the rights, someone who collected the long-term profits. That lesson stayed with him, but first, he needed to prove himself. At just 14 years old, Byron Allen started performing stand-up comedy. Standing in front of adults with a microphone wasn't easy. Most teenagers would have been terrified. He wasn't. Night after night, he refined his timing, sharpened his jokes, and learned how to connect with an audience. His confidence quickly attracted attention. Before long, veteran comedian Jimmy Walker recognized Allen's talent and invited the teenager to contribute jokes for his writing team. It was an unbelievable opportunity. Sharing ideas alongside writers who would later become legends of late-night television exposed Allen to an entirely new world. Every conversation became another lesson, not only about comedy, but about the business behind entertainment. Then came another breakthrough. At only 18 years old, Byron Allen performed on one of America's biggest comedy stages. It instantly introduced him to millions of viewers. Doors opened, television opportunities followed. His career as an entertainer was finally taking off. But something unexpected happened. While everyone around him focused on becoming bigger stars, Allen was paying attention to something far more valuable: ownership. He realized celebrities could earn millions. Yet the companies producing the shows often earned far more. That realization completely changed the direction of his career. Instead of chasing fame, he started chasing assets. And that decision would eventually transform a young comedian into one of the most powerful media owners in America. In the next chapter, Byron Allen stops thinking like a performer and begins building the business machine that would eventually become Allen Media Group. Chapter 3: Building the Machine. By the early 1990s, Byron Allen had already experienced success in front of the camera. He had recognition, he had connections, he had a promising television career, but he wanted something much bigger than fame. He wanted ownership. Instead of competing for acting roles or hosting opportunities, Allen founded what would eventually become Allen Media Group. At first, it didn't look glamorous. There were no blockbuster movies, no billion-dollar headlines, no flashy Hollywood parties. Instead, Allen focused on something most people ignored: television syndication. While major networks fought over primetime hits, Allen quietly produced affordable programs that local stations needed every single day. Court shows, comedy panels, lifestyle programs, talk shows, game shows. None of them made international headlines, but they generated something far more valuable: predictable revenue. Every new program added another asset to his growing library. Unlike many entertainers who sold away their rights, Byron Allen kept ownership. That meant every episode could be licensed again, and again, and again. Over time, thousands of hours of programming became permanent income-producing assets. Each show was another brick in an empire most Americans never noticed. But Allen wasn't satisfied with simply creating content. He wanted complete control over the business. He once explained his philosophy through action rather than words. Why stop at producing television when you could also own the networks showing it? Why share advertising revenue when you could sell it yourself? Instead of depending on someone else's platform, Allen slowly built a system where every piece worked together. He created the content, he owned the rights, he distributed the programming, and he earned money from the advertising. Most people saw television. Byron Allen saw an entire business ecosystem. One decision in particular accelerated that growth even further. It was called barter syndication. Rather than charging local stations for his programs, Allen often provided them at little or no upfront cost. In return, both sides shared the advertising inventory. The stations filled their schedules without spending millions. Allen gained nationwide distribution, and because his shows appeared in cities across America, national advertisers suddenly became interested. It was a simple idea, but it transformed a small production company into a national media operation. Still, his biggest move was yet to come. One acquisition would completely change how Wall Street viewed Byron Allen. Chapter 4: The $300 million Gamble. In 2018, Byron Allen shocked the media industry. He purchased the Weather Channel in a deal worth roughly $300 million. Many analysts didn't understand the decision. Cable television was losing subscribers. Streaming services were exploding. People questioned why anyone would spend hundreds of millions on a weather network. But Byron Allen wasn't buying weather forecasts. He was buying something much more valuable: trust. For decades, millions of Americans had relied on the Weather Channel during hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, and other major weather events. It wasn't just another television network. It was one of the most recognized and trusted brands in American media. Even more importantly, it already reached millions of homes across the country. That kind of distribution is incredibly difficult to build from scratch. Allen understood that immediately. Owning the Weather Channel gave him far more than another television property. It gave him leverage. Cable providers already carried the network. That made conversations about adding his other channels much easier. One acquisition strengthened the entire company. Suddenly, Byron Allen was no longer viewed as a producer with successful syndicated shows. He had become a serious media owner. Investors started paying attention. Competitors noticed, and the industry realized this wasn't a businessman making random purchases. He was following a carefully planned strategy. Buy valuable assets, control distribution, own the content, generate recurring revenue. It was a formula that had worked for years. Now Allen was ready to take it to an entirely different level. Instead of buying programs,
he started buying television stations themselves. And after that, he set his sights on some of the biggest media companies in America. Chapter 5. The billion-dollar buying spree. By the late 2010s, Byron Allen had already proven he could build successful television businesses. Now he wanted something far bigger. He wanted ownership of the stations themselves. Across the United States, local television stations remain incredibly valuable. They're the channels families turn on every morning for local news, weather updates, sports, breaking events, and prime-time programming from major networks. While many investors were chasing streaming companies and tech startups, Allen was quietly purchasing these traditional broadcast stations, one after another. Over just a few years, Allen Media Group spent more than $1 billion acquiring dozens of affiliate stations across multiple American markets. It wasn't a flashy business, but it was a powerful one. Every acquisition expanded his influence. Every station increased his advertising reach. Every deal strengthened his negotiating position with cable providers and advertisers. Suddenly, Byron Allen wasn't simply producing television. He was helping deliver it directly into millions of homes. Then another opportunity appeared. Most investors saw failure. Allen saw potential. The Black News Channel, created to serve Black audiences across America, had entered bankruptcy. To many people, the company was finished. Byron Allen disagreed. Instead of avoiding the struggling network, he purchased it. Not because it was profitable, but because it already had national distribution agreements with major cable companies. Allen understood something many investors overlook. Sometimes the infrastructure is worth far more than the company's current financial condition. Rather than building a nationwide television network from the ground up, he acquired one at a fraction of its original value. It perfectly matched the strategy he'd been following for years. Find undervalued assets, improve them, and let time multiply their value. As Allen Media Group continued growing, industry analysts estimated the company was worth billions of dollars. Most Americans still didn't recognize Byron Allen's face, but executives inside the media industry certainly did, because they knew one thing: he wasn't finished buying, not even close. Chapter 6. The $40 billion shopping list. As Byron Allen's confidence grew, so did the size of his ambitions. Instead of targeting individual stations, he began pursuing some of the biggest names in American media. The numbers were astonishing. Billions of dollars, again and again. He made offers for major television groups, explored ownership opportunities in professional sports, attempted to acquire BET and VH1, made a high-profile proposal involving ABC and several of Disney's television assets, and eventually joined an enormous bid for Paramount Global, the company behind CBS, Paramount Pictures, MTV, Nickelodeon, and numerous other iconic brands. Combined together, those acquisition attempts exceeded $40 billion. Most of them never happened. Critics quickly focused on the failures. They called the offers unrealistic. Some questioned whether Allen was aiming too high, but Byron Allen viewed the situation differently. He often compared business to baseball. The greatest hitters don't succeed every time they step up to the plate. What matters is having the courage to keep swinging. That mindset explains almost everything about his career. Most entrepreneurs only pursue opportunities they're confident they can win. Allen isn't wired that way. If he believes an asset can transform his company, he makes the offer, whether people expect him to succeed or not. Because eventually, one breakthrough can change everything. And after years of narrowly missing some of the biggest deals in media, his patience finally paid off. In 2026, he completed one of the most surprising acquisitions of his entire career. A company that once dominated the internet was suddenly available at a fraction of its former value. And Byron Allen moved fast, once again. Chapter 7. Success comes with a price. From the outside, Byron Allen's empire looked unstoppable. He owned the Weather Channel. He controlled dozens of television stations. He was making billion-dollar offers for some of America's biggest media companies. And then, he became the majority owner of BuzzFeed. It looked like one victory after another. But behind the scenes, the story was far more complicated. Building an empire requires enormous amounts of capital, and even the smartest acquisitions come with risk. As traditional television continued facing pressure from streaming platforms, Allen Media Group began making difficult decisions. Some television stations were sold. Operations were streamlined. The company worked to reduce debt while continuing to invest in new opportunities. Critics questioned whether Byron Allen had expanded too quickly. Others argued that he was simply adapting to an industry changing faster than ever before. The truth was probably somewhere in the middle. Byron Allen has never claimed every investment would become a perfect success. Business isn't about winning every deal. It's about surviving long enough for the right opportunities to pay off. That philosophy has guided nearly every major decision of his career. When other investors panic, Allen searches for value. When companies struggle, he asks what they could become instead of what they are today. That mindset has made him one of the boldest investors in American media. But it has also exposed him to criticism whenever the market turns against him. That's the price of thinking differently. Chapter 8. Buying what everyone else abandons. If you study Byron Allen's biggest acquisitions, a clear pattern begins to appear. He rarely buys companies at their peak. Instead, he looks for businesses the rest of the market has already written off. The Weather Channel, Black News Channel, BuzzFeed. Different companies, different industries, but the same strategy. Buy valuable assets when they're unpopular. Improve them. Use existing infrastructure instead of starting from zero. Most people chase trends. Allen chases opportunity. Because he believes true value often appears when everyone else is looking the other way. Of course, that strategy isn't guaranteed to work. Some investments will outperform expectations, others won't. That's the reality of entrepreneurship. But whether you agree with every decision or not, there's one thing that's impossible to ignore. Very few people have transformed themselves the way Byron Allen has. He didn't inherit a media empire. He built one, brick by brick, deal by deal, over several decades. He went from telling jokes as a teenager to negotiating billion-dollar acquisitions with some of the largest corporations in America. That journey alone is remarkable. Ending Byron Allen's story isn't really about television, and it isn't only about money. It's about understanding where real power exists. While millions of people dreamed about becoming celebrities, Allen dreamed about owning the companies that made celebrities famous. That single shift in perspective changed the course of his life. Today, his name stands alongside some of the most influential entrepreneurs in modern media. Not because every deal succeeded, but because he kept thinking bigger than everyone around him. Whether his empire continues expanding, or whether the media industry changes once again, one thing is already certain. Byron Allen has permanently changed the conversation about Black ownership in American media. He proved that it's possible to move beyond performing and into owning. And sometimes, the person holding the microphone isn't the most powerful person in the room. The real power belongs to the one who owns the stage. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover how the world's most influential Black entrepreneurs, athletes, and entertainers built fortunes that changed history, subscribe to the channel. Because the next empire we're exploring is even bigger.